Noah, a young woman from Portland, has grown increasingly disillusioned with online dating, where she constantly encounters rude and disrespectful men. Just as she begins to lose hope, she has a chance encounter with a charming and charismatic man named Steve at a supermarket. Unlike the men she's met online, Steve is confident, engaging, and refreshingly different. The two hit it off instantly, and after exchanging numbers, they go on a date that turns out to be a breath of fresh air for Noah. Their connection deepens over the next few dates, and Steve eventually invites her on a weekend getaway to a surprise destination. Though her best friend, Molly, warns her about the dangers of trusting someone she barely knows, Noah is swept up in the excitement and chooses to follow her heart. The night before their trip, she spends the evening at Steve's luxurious home, savoring a seemingly perfect moment, until she takes a sip of her cocktail, feels the world spin around her, and collapses into darkness. Noah wakes up in a cold, dimly lit room, her wrists shackled to the floor. Panic sets in as she struggles against the restraints, only to realize that she's been completely cut off from the outside world. Moments later, Steve enters. Not the charming, affectionate man she thought she knew, but someone far more sinister. He calmly reveals that his real name is Brendan, and that he is a butcher, not of animals, but of human flesh. He harvests the bodies of women, selling their meat to an exclusive clientele of wealthy cannibals, while keeping select victims alive for as long as possible to ensure their meat remains fresh. Horrified, Noah pleads for her life, but Brendan only smiles, assuring her that she will last longer if she cooperates. Through the thin walls of her prison, she hears another voice. Penny, a fellow captive who has been trapped for a long time. Penny warns Noah about a third victim, Melissa, who has suffered so much that she has lost her sanity. Desperate, Noah attempts to escape when given a rare chance to shower, but her defiance only leads to brutal consequences. As punishment, Brendan surgically removes flesh from her buttocks, reminding her that she is nothing more than a product to him. Meanwhile, Molly grows increasingly concerned when Noah suddenly stops responding to messages. Sensing that something is wrong, she begins her own investigation, enlisting the help of Paul, a bartender who had served Noah and Steve on their first date. As she digs deeper, Molly uncovers a disturbing truth. Steve doesn't exist. His real name is Brendan, and he is not only a predator but a married man with children. Determined to get answers, she tracks down his wife, Anne, and confronts her about Brendan's secret life. Anne listens calmly as Molly lays out her suspicions, but before Molly can leave, Brendan arrives. He feigns ignorance, denying any involvement with Noah. But when Molly calls Noah's phone, the sound of ringing comes from Brendan's pocket. A tense silence fills the room as Anne and Brendan exchange a knowing glance. Before Molly can react, Anne suddenly attacks her, knocking her unconscious. As darkness closes in, Molly realizes too late that she has walked straight into the same nightmare that swallowed Noah. Trapped in a waking nightmare, Noah realizes that brute force alone won't save her. She needs to outthink Brendan. Through whispered conversations with Penny, she learns something significant. She is the only captive who had been intimate with him. This gives her an idea. If she can make him believe she is different from the others, curious, even accepting of his twisted world, she might earn his trust. Slowly, Noah changes her demeanor. She becomes flirtatious, leans into Brendan's desires, and pretends to be fascinated by his lifestyle. She asks questions about his business, feigns admiration for his philosophy, and even goes so far as to suggest that she might be willing to try human meat. Intrigued, Brendan takes the bait. One night, he serves her a plate of carefully prepared human flesh. Noah forces herself to eat it, suppressing her disgust as Brendan watches her reaction with amusement. She smiles, chews, and swallows, all while her stomach churns. Later, she vomits the meal in secret, but the charade has worked. Brendan believes she is coming around. Meanwhile, Molly, now imprisoned like Noah, becomes Brendan's next target. He begins preparing her for harvesting, unaware that Noah is playing a long con. Brendan soon invites Noah to a more formal occasion, an intimate dinner just for the two of them. He presents her with a pink dress, insisting she wear it for the special night. Noah obeys, knowing she has to see this through. At dinner, Brendan opens a concealed display case, proudly showing her the trophies he has taken from past victims. Phones, jewelry, and other personal belongings. Among them, Noah spots Molly's phone, confirming her worst fears. After dinner, Brendan leads Noah into a slow dance, holding her close as if she is his prized possession. He is completely under her spell. When the moment is right, Noah makes her final move. She seduces him, leading him to the bedroom and offering to perform oral sex. Just as he lets his guard down, she strikes, biting down viciously on his penis. Brendan howls in agony, giving Noah the chance to escape. Wasting no time, she rushes to free Molly and Penny. With Brendan injured, the three women band together, using every ounce of strength to fight back. Penny, having lost multiple limbs, is lifted into the dumbwaiter and sent to safety. In the kitchen, Noah and Molly turned their desperation into fury, attacking Brendan as he stumbles after them. The brutal struggle leaves him wounded, and with no other option, they flee into the woods. The hunt is far from over. Brendan, fueled by rage, grabs a gun and follows them into the darkness. With the dense forest stretching endlessly before them, Noah, Molly, and Penny push forward, their breaths ragged, their bodies running on sheer adrenaline. Behind them, Brendan is in relentless pursuit, his gun in hand, his fury boiling over. Every crunch of leaves beneath their feet, every snapped branch, sends a jolt of fear through them. He's close. Meanwhile, Paul, who had tracked Molly's phone to Brendan's house, sits in his car just outside. As he watches the eerie stillness of the home, uncertainty gnaws at him. Then a gunshot shatters the silence. Paul grips the steering wheel, wrestling with his instincts. He could go inside, try to help. But what if he's too late? Doubt wins, and instead of stepping into the unknown, he drives away, unaware that just beyond the trees, a deadly struggle is unfolding. Noah, Molly, and Penny refuse to be victims any longer. They stop running, exchanging determined glances before turning to face the monster who has tormented them. As Brendan emerges from the shadows, gun raised, Noah makes her move. She lunges, grabbing at the weapon, and in the chaos, the gun goes off once, twice, before she wrests it from his grip. Without hesitation, she pulls the trigger. The first shot staggers him. The second ensures he will never hurt another woman again. Brendan collapses, lifeless, his reign of terror finally ended. But their nightmare isn't over. Back at the house, Anne steps into the clearing and finds her husband's corpse sprawled on the ground. There is no horror in her eyes, no grief, only quiet understanding. With a cold, clinical detachment, She orders a companion to dispose of the body, instructing them to place Brendan in the freezer like a piece of expired meat. Then she turns her attention to Noah. With eerie calmness, Anne approaches, her presence radiating quiet menace. Before Noah can react, Anne's hands are around her throat, squeezing with an inhuman strength. Noah gasps, clawing at Anne's fingers, her vision blurring as darkness creeps in. But she refuses to die here, not after everything. In one last desperate move, she thrusts a set of car keys into Anne's neck. Blood spills, but Anne barely flinches. She stumbles, still reaching for Noah. But before she can recover, Molly delivers the final blow. The shovel swings through the air and connects with brutal force, sending Anne crumpling to the ground, lifeless. A heavy silence falls. It's over. As dawn breaks, Noah and Molly finally allow themselves to breathe. They sit together in the cool morning air, the weight of everything settling in. The horrors they endured, the lives they took to survive. It's too much to process. And then, as if the universe itself is mocking her, Noah's phone vibrates. A message from an ex. A casual, meaningless text from yet another toxic man who has no idea what she's just been through. Noah stares at the screen, a bitter smirk curling on her lips. Some things never change. In an elegant, sterile white room, 5 men sit at a pristine table. A plate rests at the center, its contents unmistakable. Raw, bleeding human flesh. Silent, unmoving, they stare at their unfinished meal, their indulgence now disrupted, their world suddenly uncertain. The supplier is gone, and hunger remains. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.